I'm Christian Corley. With me is Gavin Phillips. We are back, the really useful podcast, the tech podcast for technophobes from MakeUseOf.com. How are you doing, Gavin?
I'm doing very well, thank you, Christian. It was my birthday yesterday. I've had a jolly nice weekend, and I'm looking forward to a new season of the Really Useful Podcast. How about yourself?
Yeah, me too. It hasn't been my birthday, not for a month anyway. And regular listeners will know that we took a break over Christmas. So December, January, we've had a break, recharged our batteries, and we're back this week. We've got news, recommendations, tips, and we're going to look at some giveaways on Make Use Of. There's some good stuff going on at the moment there, so it'll be a shame to not alert you to those. News-wise, we're going to look at how you can watch YouTube on your PS4. We're looking at Pinterest and trick of how to clear your Facebook activity as well. Recommendations out and tips coming up. We have how to remove a broken headphone jack from a phone or tablet, why images get burned into LCD and plasma displays and how you can fix that, and video game themed Valentine's Day gifts that you can give this year because it's next. Is it next week? It's next week, isn't it?
Next week? Or in the middle of next week?
It's coming soon.
It's on the horizon.
It's on the horizon. Those arrows are being sharpened.
Oh, look, it's on a Friday.
Oh, it's always the best day for Valentine's Day, isn't
Absolutely.
it? Other than maybe Saturday. Sunday, terrible day for it.
Worst day.
So let's go with how you can now watch YouTube TV on your PS4. Gavin, you got a PS4?
I don't, but you know what? I am currently looking to buy a PS4 Pro, so I'm in the market. So this news is very applicable to me at the moment.
Excellent. So YouTube TV is now available on your PS4. Sony's previously shunned other options to promote its own live TV streaming service, but PlayStation Vue has shut down, which will explain why I no longer have the app on my Xperia. In October, Sony announced it was shutting PlayStation Vue, and competition was fierce from Hulu and Live TV, Sling TV, and others, so they decided to kill it and focus energy elsewhere. So, if you're a PlayStation Vue refugee or you just want YouTube TV on your PS4, you can now do it. You'll find the app in the PlayStation 4, install it on your PS4, then sign in, or sign up for an account if you don't already have one, and start using YouTube TV. I found getting YouTube apps on TV has improved considerably over the last couple of years. It used to be a real pain to do, but now basically you install the app, you go to the sign in, then it tells you go to youtube.com/activate or whatever, then you log in on your PC or your phone with your user account that you normally use, and it'll give you a code to enter, and then you enter that on the console or whatever. Or sometimes you don't even need to do that because it detects your IP.
Yeah, if you're on the same network, that works on the Fire Stick, doesn't it?
Yes,
with some apps, but like you said, not all of them do it. But it just automatically updates itself.
But either way, it's so much easier now than it was in the past. So, I mean, we don't need to sit here and explain how to use YouTube to anybody, but having that on a PS4 is a big advantage.
Yeah, it's a nice addition, isn't it? So, was PlayStation Vue was it a free app? With Sony content on it rather than the YouTube app, which is because YouTube TV is different to YouTube, isn't it?
It is different to YouTube, yeah. That's worth pointing out, yeah. I mean, YouTube TV is kind of like it's that type of app, isn't it? It's that subscription service that YouTube has.
Yeah. And you can get ABC, CBS, all those sorts of proper channels rather than just YouTube streamers on YouTube TV. So it's a bit more expansive, isn't it? And licensed content rather than just stuff that people have uploaded or home creations and so on.
Yeah, which begs a question: why not have it in the first place?
I mean, if they were going to continue with PlayStation Vue, they don't want a direct competitor on their platform. Now that doesn't exist, they might as well open it up and make it nice for people using it.
I mean, looking over the past few years, the things that we've always found is that the only people who miss out with this It's not the bank balance of the companies quarrelling. It's the consumer who misses out. It's the audience who misses out by not having the choice. So
Yes.
it is sad. But yeah, anyway, YouTube TV, you can bang it on your PS4 now, alongside any other entertainment apps you might have running. And now a topic that Gavin and I are both absolute experts on. Pinterest now lets you virtually try on makeup.
Yeah, it looks quite interesting though. Actually, I really like the more companies are getting to grips with augmented reality apps. I saw one recently from the UK retailer John Lewis, and
Yep.
you can now put a piece of furniture into the room. And if you remember like the original sort of augmented reality apps, they were really janky, and the pieces of furniture would sort of splice through your walls and all that sort of stuff. But I took it for a test drive the other day, and it was actually really good. Like it synced really nicely with the surroundings. There's a bit of shadowing on the furniture to show how it might look in different lights. It was really good.
Yeah. Are you likely to have John Lewis furniture in your house for real?
Not at the current rate, no. I better keep playing the lottery.
Yeah, snap. I think the most expensive. Well, yeah, the most expensive thing we ever bought from John Lewis was I think it was a dummy. It was something baby related, anyway.
Yeah, nice. Oh, so Pinterest.
Yes, Pinterest. Yeah, so they're doing this. So this is quite cool. Their augmented reality feature was announced on the Pinterest newsroom, and is to help pinners explore their style and shop on interest. And it does this by using augmented reality technology to let you try on makeup virtually. Now, you might say, "Oh, that's not that different to like apps like Snapchat or any of those things, add the filters, put makeup and stuff like that." But what this is doing is actually letting you try on the makeup and then buy the makeup. You can swipe up to shop from specific brands such as Estee Lauder, Sephora, Neutrogena, L'Oreal. There's different shades available for all skin tones, and Pinterest won't be using filters to smooth your skin or alter your appearance. So you can, beyond obviously what you're testing out, so obviously you're going to see exactly how it looks on you. So this is kind of useful for anyone who's interested in makeup and buying makeup. Whether or not you wear makeup, or you're trying it out for a friend or for a daughter or whatever. You have daughters, Gavin?
Yeah, all three of them, yeah.
Yeah, all three. Yeah, so I've got two girls. My oldest loves just like messing around with my social stuff. So I've got a profile picture on Twitter at the moment that was chosen by my daughter, which is me with my teddy bear. Childhood.
Very nice.
Yeah, the background on her tablet photo is a picture of my mother with a Santa beard.
Very fetching, I'm sure.
Yeah, she's a character, my daughter. But yeah, this is the sort of thing that she would absolutely love to try out.
Yeah, I can absolutely. My eldest Simile is just sort of on the cusp of wanting makeup, and we went to a birthday party yesterday afternoon for several other kids, and I noticed she'd put some makeup on, so I was like, oh, okay.
Oh,
so here we are, standing on the cusp of makeup time. So yeah, likewise, I imagine she would really enjoy this, but it would be absolutely for all ages, and like you say, because you can swipe to buy straight from the app, it seems very, very handy.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, check that out. And as with everything that we discuss in the Really Useful podcast, you will find all the links you need in the show notes. Facebook, one of our favourite things is Facebook, isn't it? They've now made it possible for you to clear your off Facebook activities. It's a new tool which puts you in better control of your data. It's called the Off Facebook Activity tool. It shows you which websites and apps are sharing your data with Facebook. You might think, what? They're sharing data with Facebook? Yes, they are. Mark Zuckerberg has told the Facebook newsroom, which is a sort of blog on Facebook, that some of the work we've been doing to give you more control over your privacy on and off Facebook. And for starters, Facebook will be directing all 2 billion users to its privacy checkup tool. I think that happened to me a couple of days ago, actually. but I'd been messing around with it like a week before, so I kind of ignored it. And now I'm thinking,
Yeah.
yeah. So I'll maybe go back into that. So all manual sites and apps share information with Facebook. The information that they share allows Facebook to create a profile on you and share relevant ads based on that. You probably know that Facebook has been in trouble for collecting information about people. There's different about everyone that has Facebook, and even people that don't have Facebook. People are mentioned on Facebook or when you've imported contacts into Facebook, but that person doesn't have a Facebook profile. Things called shadow profiles are created. So they have a vast database of information about people. It's been used in the news for selling data, or not so much selling data as making data accessible to groups who use that to for political campaigning, for instance. It's not just that as well. There are other things that have been going on with that. It's not just political campaign. There's other kinds of targeting that have been going on by third parties. Now, if you want to help to reduce the information, you can use the Off Facebook Activity tool. So when you're in Facebook, go to Settings, your Facebook information, and then Off Facebook Activity, and you can use that to access, download, or manage your information. Importantly, clear your history and manage future activity with Facebook. The interesting thing about Facebook is it never fails to surprise us with its not just its range of tools for handling your privacy, but also the fact that it has to create these tools for handling your privacy.
Yeah, a lot of the time it appears that they've had to turn public what was originally a internal Facebook tool where they would look at the different data sources coming in, and then suddenly, oh look, you can now do it yourself. Yeah. So once you scroll down that list, it seems, looking at my own list, it does seem fairly exhaustive, but it doesn't go back that far. My list goes to the 27th of July 2019. But once you scroll through your own list, you use the link in the article that will be linked in the show notes, you see that it is almost every single website that you visit, basically ever. So especially in the UK and Europe, I think it's in the US as well, isn't it? You receive the cookies and preference notice. So whenever you click through that, you're essentially consenting to this data sharing process to begin. And a lot of the time now on many websites, if you click no, then some websites will just say, well, you can't access the content that you want to read. So you get locked out of sites and services and the content if you don't consent to sharing your data. So it's a tricky balance.
It is. And all we can say really is just be vigilant when using any social network as to how your information is being used by them. We'll move on, because it's a topic we're going to come back to again and again. And we have done repeatedly in previous shows in the Really Useful podcast. Recommendations time. And this is a little segment that we introduced in the last run of shows, during which we find something to recommend to you that you might find interesting. Now, I came dangerously close to buying a new guitar a couple of months ago. And really close. Yeah, really close. It was kind of, I say dangerously close. I could have got closer. It was basically the threat of a big argument kind of put me off. Because there's other things to save up for. And like a new house, but that's another story entirely.
You could say a new hat.
A very ornate hat.
That is a very fancy hat, yeah.
Your Grace's time, So, a new hat, new house. And so I've been revisiting guitar, and I've been playing ukulele a lot, which I think we talked about in a previous show. Now, I found this guy on YouTube called Paul Davids, and he has 1.53 million subscribers, and he does tutorials and kind of reviews of guitars. He's really cool approach, very relaxed, laid back approach. well, completely giving you everything that you need to know. Useful camera angles to show you how he's playing or to show you what he's talking about. It's a really, really cool and interesting way of teaching guitar, and it's there free on YouTube. So check this guy out, basically, if you're interested in guitar.
Yeah, very nice. Yeah.
What have you got?
I was going to recommend the YouTube channel of Tifo Football or soccer. I'm a massive soccer fan, and Tifo Football take very specific topics and turn them into really nicely animated videos, and they narrate the videos themselves, and they give you like really in-depth looks at different parts of the world of football, soccer, that sort of go under the radar sometimes, like more in-depth looks at how specific tactics work, how different players will fit into different clubs, why certain leagues are formed like they are, the money behind clubs, the money behind leagues, and how certain scandals have happened and what have you over the years. And they've gained a lot of followers in the last few years because they put out 2 to 5 videos every week.
Wow.
And they're really nicely animated, and they're all to the exact same standard. They're really worth a watch if you're interested in that sort of sport.
Okay, so that's worth checking out, and the links will be in the show notes for you.
Yeah.
And for Gavin if he wants to check them out, which he probably already has them bookmarked. Okay, so it's tips time. Have you ever broken a headphone jack and found that the important part was stuck in your phone or tablet or MP3 player, leaving you unable to listen to music?
Oh God, that must be absolutely horrendous. Have you done that?
I haven't. I know a small chap who has, and it was a real pain to sort out.
Oh God. Yeah, that seems pretty horrendous.
Yeah, because basically, once the headphone jack goes in, then there's no audio. It's piped through the ears. And if it gets broken off in there, if you can't get it out, then it's basically going to cut out the speakers on the device, thinking that the audio's going through the connector into the earphone. So there are various ways that you can get a broken headphone jack out of the port. I'm going to go through them quickly in turn. I'm going to tell you what I found worked the best, and then obviously the links in the show notes for further information. So you can use the inside of a biro. So you open a biro pen, pull out the nib end, and you've got the tube with the ink in it. It's the same diameter as a headphone jack, or more or less. So the idea is that you can push it down and then pull it out. Doesn't always work. So another thing you can do is a similar thing, but with super glue on the end. But you don't put it straight down. You wait for the super glue to go a bit tacky. You can also use a thumbtack with a bent point, but this depends on how far down the jack is. If it's kind of broken sort of more or less cleanly with the edge of your phone or tablet or MP3 player, then a thumbtack with a slightly bent edge, bent point, can be forced in to the end of the jack, and then hopefully you get enough purchase to then pull it out.
Yeah.
If super glue isn't available, then hot glue on like a thumb on a toothpick or something else narrow and long, maybe a lollipop stick, can do a similar job. A heated paper clip. I'm not keen on this. This is one of the things I tried and I got a little burn from it. So, do this with absolute care. Is heat up a paper clip and then push it into the end of the connector, and the sealed plasticky bit in the end there should give slightly. Then leave the paper clip in there for a moment or two for it all to cool down, and then pull. Hopefully it'll come out. Now, the thing I found that did work was the hot glue and toothpick, but I used a lollipop stick.
Okay.
But it took about 6 attempts, and I seem to recall that there was a bit of shaking of things and holding it upside down just to get the extra bonus of gravity.
Yeah.
But there is a tool called a grip stick. You could save yourself a lot of mess around just buying a grip stick, which is designed specifically for removing headphone jacks from a phone.
Oh, right. Wow.
And now these are available. They're not too expensive. They're the result of a successful Kickstarter campaign, and they've kind of been copied. So anyone can get hold of one now. I'm looking on Amazon now, and yeah, you can get tools that do the same sort of thing. The original grip stick is ridiculously expensive now, so they must have come to the end of the run, and they're very rare to get hold of. But they're like £10 when they were initially available. So, but basically, the idea is to find something that is wide enough to grab, whilst being small enough not to go in and not to cause any damage. So it is a pain. The best solution, of course, is to not use wired headsets. Use Bluetooth.
Yeah, I mean, if you've got the option, it's quite great. I've only just recently started using wireless headphones, and was like, oh, why have I not been doing this for so long?
Yeah.
Silly.
I had the same thought a few months ago when I got these. What are they? Sennheisers. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And I thought, why on earth haven't I been doing this already?
Yeah, exactly. They're in a
crazy.
box on my desk for like 8 months. Just sitting there looking at me.
Oh dear. So that's that. We've loaded the article with videos as well, so you can check how each one works, or illustrations or whatever. So yeah, check those out. Now then, LCD TVs and plasma TVs famously are subject to screen burning. Many years ago, I worked in the UK Health Service in the IT department, and we had a system set up on a plasma TV. This was totally OTT, by the way. It did not need to be on a plasma TV. Did not need to be on like a £2,000 plasma TV on wall, basically showing sites being pinged on Nagios.
Okay.
Yeah, totally. You don't talk to me about wastage in the NHS. My God, I can take some stories.
That's impressive.
Anyhow, and basically the idea was to detect whether a remote site clinic or whatever had been knocked offline, and then we'd be able to quickly mobilize our forces, send an engineer out and sort it out before they even realized that they'd gone offline. That was the idea behind that. And because we were showing the same thing all the time, at first there was a bit of screen burning, which was eventually sorted out by switching between different screens. But this is not uncommon on plasmas and LCDs, is it, Gavin?
Yeah, no, plasmas, as you were saying, are particularly susceptible to it. I mean, they don't really make plasma TVs anymore, not new ones anyway, but of course there's a lot of plasma TVs out there still floating around in existence. The thing with plasmas is they suffer from what's called phosphor deterioration, and that's where the bits behind the screen, basically the components, just start deteriorating and they can't do the job anymore. And once those start failing, parts of the screen that are exposed for a long time to the same image, that image remains on the screen. So particularly bad for that sort of deterioration are things like scrolling news sites and tickers like that. So you get the scrolling news ticker across the bottom of the screen, and that will remain there. And like the news logo up in one of the corners, and that will remain there even after you change channel. So with the more modern screens, LCDs and LEDs, they can also experience image burn, although they're more likely to experience some image persistence, which is where you change it to something else and it looks like the image has burned into the screen, but it should fade away reasonably quickly. That's not to say that it can't happen under the same circumstances, and it's essentially the same problem as with the plasma screens. Overexposure and constant usage cause the bits that give you the images on the screen to fail, really. There are some ways around it. The success of them always depends on how badly the image burn-in is. The first thing goes without saying is to not leave your screens on a single image for too long to begin with. Obviously, that's not always possible. If, like Christian was saying, if it's in a waiting room or something like that, and it's displaying the same news channel forever, it's going to happen at some point. And if you've left it on for thousands of hours, then there's a strong chance you're going to get burning. You can use image static to attempt to rejig the bits behind the screen into cooperating with you again. So the static is the constant black and white image that moves quickly across your screen. That can reset some of the broken parts of your screen. It's not 100% guaranteed though. Some modern screens, LEDs and OLEDs and what have you, have technology called pixel shift. And this is where the manufacturers have realized that screen burn-in is an issue. And instead of displaying the screen in exactly the same place, exactly all the time, they shift it slightly around the screen, which is imperceptible to you or I, to the human eye. But to the screen, it makes a huge amount of difference because it's changing only one pixel of color at a time, but it means those single pixels aren't burning into one specific place. So it sounds like a tiny thing, but it makes a massive difference. There's also some software-based fixes that you could try. One which is very popular and works quite well is JScreen Fix. It's a licensed program, costs $25, but it helps deal with dead pixels and other screen burn images, and it rotates through like series of colors, different patterns, and what have you, and that can help to shift dead pixels and screen burns. And the other one, which is quite handy and also does maybe work for plasma screens, is using a white screensaver. So you could connect your laptop or whatever to your television, display a pure white background on the screen, and mirror that to the television that's experiencing screen burn, and leave that for a good few hours, and hopefully that will clear up all of, or at least some of, the image burn. Like I said, it's not always guaranteed that you're going to get rid of all the image burn. It really depends on how long it's been there, the type of television or monitor you're using. Like older monitors and what have you can be really susceptible to it, especially if they're like 20 years or more old. It can be quite tricky to get rid of, but there are options to fix it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so I mean that's one to really keep an eye on. Bookmark that one, because it's, while there are methods, as Gavin says, built in to reduce this from happening, it is always a risk. We'll move on now. I'd really love this. It's the 10 best video game themed Valentine's Day gifts. It's by a regular, really useful podcast guest, Ben Stegner. And he goes through 10 things that you might consider for Valentine's Day for your special someone. So, a new multiplayer game. For instance, he suggests snipper clips.
I've not played that.
I haven't played that either. But Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is also suggested, or Super Smash Brothers, both of which are great multiplayers.
Well, what if they're those sort of games like you give to your loved one and you play a few rounds, and then by like the 10th round you're trying to fight each other because
all the romance is gone.
Yeah. Fizzled out.
I think the solution is probably just to maybe reduce how much you're playing.
Yeah, that's
I think that's
an option.
Yeah, I think that's in our house, whether we're playing video games or board games. We were playing Doctor Who Risk the other night, which is basically just huge armies of Daleks all over the earth. And, we played for a set 2 hours, and we barely got through the game. But I think it's important to play like that because if unless you're playing on your own, if you're playing on your own, play as long as you like. But with in-group situations, I think you have to have time limits. Otherwise, people can get sick of a game, or there's toilet breaks and stuff, and there's advantages and disadvantages of needing to leave the room for a few minutes or whatever. So useful family gaming tip there for you on the Really Useful podcast. Jewelry, back to the article. Jewelry is a common Valentine's Day gift, and you can get jewelry that is inspired by games. The site Fangamer has several options to let you show off your appreciation of your loved one's interests, such as necklaces and earrings based on Zelda, Mario, and other titles. Funko Pop figurines. I hate these things.
Oh, really?
I just do not understand the attraction at all. But I hear they're very popular. They're in every shop I go in these days, so there must be.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, you don't need me to tell you what to do with Funko Pop because you won't agree with me. You might buy an Overwatch Diva pillow for your loved one. A little bit more serious now. Video game art books, that's really cool. I didn't even know these things existed. Cuphead.
No, ceramic mug that is a Cuphead. Yeah, I like that. That's really nice.
I like that. Video game T-shirts. Now I'm building a nice collection of retro gaming T-shirts. So I'm certainly up for that one. A Raspberry Pi. Who can say no to a Raspberry Pi?
Yeah, I would love someone to buy me another Raspberry Pi.
How many have you got?
I've got 3, and I've got one in the post as well.
Right,
you can never have too many.
I've got a spreadsheet detailing what all of my Raspberry Pis are doing. I have 12, apparently.
Nice.
Admittedly, the Raspberry Pi B, the very first one, has been decommissioned. Because it's too slow and it doesn't do stuff. And then I have mainly... some of them don't do anything. One of them's not mine. One of them's Bruce's, my son's. That's in the Piper kit, so I don't touch that one. So maybe 10. A Raspberry Pi with retro gaming stuff is a really, really cool option. Gaming posters are also available for your loved ones, or just digital store credits. Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo Switch, Steam, whatever. All those things.
Yeah, good ideas.
Yeah, great stuff. Then find a... if it's Steam, obviously there's the very real risk that what you're actually buying them is a card for a one-player game that they're going the rest of Valentine's night playing and ignoring you. So there is that risk. So that's that. I mean, what would you buy along those lines, Gavin, for your loved one?
I would go for something like the T-shirts, or I think digital store credit's always good because you're giving a gift with love and thought in mind, but you're letting them make the final decision. So it's always good that sort of present. Or
you're letting them know you haven't got a bloody clue what they want.
No, I'll take the first option.
I would probably go for the jewelry, I think.
Oh, yeah. You think? Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see you rocking one of the Triforce necklaces.
Never rocked a necklace in my life. I'm not about to start today. Okay. Right. Well, we're going to wrap up the show in a moment or two, but as noted earlier on, we're going to look at some giveaways that are currently running on MakeUseOf. I'll start with the Insta360 1R, a modular action cam that does everything and more. There's a great review video by James Bruce which explains what's great about this. It's just to reiterate, it's an action cam that's modular. So the main selling point, as James puts it, is the 1R doesn't make you choose between taking a 360 camera or a 4K action cam. You can have both. It handles both. It does both. And you sort of like snap pieces together to create the camera that you want to take out with you, and then you check everything on a phone. There's some great demos in there, but it does. There's a review video for you to check out, and that is a giveaway Now that went live on January the 24th, so you've got about 2 weeks to get in and enter that video and that competition, I beg your pardon, to win the Insta360 1 hour. So take this opportunity to head over there now and check it out, because that's a really cool piece of kit that you could win. And I've been doing a bit of hardware reviewing myself. It is the Doogee S95 Pro. Again, it's modular. So this is a phone. It's a big phone. It's kind of like a Galaxy S10, but a little bulkier and heavier because it's been hardened. It's a rugged design. You can drop it and it won't break. It won't even reset. I've dropped it in a pond. It's waterproof with IP68 standard. I've dropped it on the beach. I've dropped it on asphalt. I've thrown it. It's got Gorilla Glass. I'm not saying that it's not going to break the glass, but everything else is really, really tough. Now, it has 2 modules. It comes with a speaker and a battery pack. You can get 2 days battery out of the onboard battery. And then the battery pack that you attach, there are magnets and little pogo pin connectors that hold the modules in place. It's a really cool thing. It isn't an everyday phone, though. It's not something you can easily put in and out of your pocket. But if you're someone who goes, cycling or into the countryside, mountaineering, climbing, just to the beach, or just maybe you holiday on islands a lot, I think it's a useful device to have, if only for the long battery. And also, it's so hard. I'm pretty sure you could smash glass with it. Maybe deter attackers even. It really... I've still got the bruise in my hand where I banged it in the video. So now that went live on the 31st of January. You've got just under 3 weeks to get your entry in for that. It's definitely worth having a phone like that, I would say. That brings us to the end of the first really useful podcast of season 4. It's 2020. Let's push on with some great new tips throughout the year for you. And as ever, let us know your thoughts. And if there's anything that you want us to talk about, get in touch on Twitter or on MakeUseOf. From Gavin Phillips and myself, Christian Cawley, it's goodbye.
Bye-bye.